What's good? Welcome to the Central Ohio Hoops Report. I'm your man, Derrick Owens Jr. As always, with my guy, man, Mr. 270 himself, Zach Fleer. What's up, brother? Good morning.
What's going on, man?
Hey, it's a great day other than the ice and snow that's coming.
Be safe out there. If you are driving, if you have to leave, if you have to travel, just be careful. Everyone, leave home safe, get home safe. That's what it's all about. Hey, what a night last night we had. Upsets, big
Everywhere,
time
man.
upsets.
Everywhere. Literally every league you could think of, teams going down. It was a great night for high school basketball in Central Ohio.
Yes, it was, and we'll touch on as much of it as we can. We do this every Saturday, all right, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., streaming live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Comment on the show. Let us know how you're watching. Let us know if your team was one of those teams that had a big win last night in an upset. Did your team take a loss last night? My alma mater took a loss last night.
Mine did too, but we lose about every night, so it's okay.
Wow, this guy. Hey, yes. So let us know. Comment. Talk about some of those outstanding performances we saw last night. We got a special show for you today. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. Our guests we have coming up are two of the best basketball players in the country. And they're
period.
At the same school, so.
Bottom line, in the country.
I don't care if the scouting service don't give them love.
ESPN,
they're two of the best
W.
in the country. So.
Bottom line. Malia Perry, Madison Green from Pick Central, state champions, looking to get another. We're going to have them live in studio with us today. Very, very excited about that. And Zach had a chance to see him play last night. You were
thoroughly. I was thoroughly impressed. I mean, not just them, but the Pick Central girls basketball team as a whole. The way they play the game, they share the ball, and defend as a team. I mean, they had 10 steals in the first quarter.
That
wasn't bad. It wasn't bad ball handling. It was just they're literally swarming the ball in the passing lanes, and they knocked down shots. I mean, they had a versatile offensive attack. You know, when they weren't pounding teams in the paint, they're kicking it out for three, and Nicole Stevens was burying threes like crazy. So,
a very impressive team.
Very impressive team. I mean, Pick North is a solid squad. They beat Roseburg earlier in the year. They have a couple good players, but Pick Central is loaded again. I think they're the favorite, at least in this area in Division I, to go back to the state and hopefully get it done like they did last year.
And we'll have two of their best players, again, two of the best players in America. All right?
In the country.
Yeah. Madison Green and Malia Perry from Pick Central. They'll be on later with us. But let's get into some boys basketball. Big games. Look, around the area last night, we talked about it. Again, if you just look at our the Pick Six games that we had pegged as the games that you should watch: Hilliard-Bradley versus Thomas Worthington, Pick Central versus Pick North, South versus Walnut Ridge, Worthington Christian versus Grandview, and then Dublin Kaufman versus Hilliard-Davidson. All of these teams have been impressive throughout the year to start.
And Whitehall Bexley too.
Whitehall Bexley. I'm sorry. Yep, absolutely. So look, instead of just doing a score rundown like we usually do, I kind of wanted to just go ahead and start with the Pick Six today, and then we'll slide some more scores in there and some other impressive performances and performers from last night. But I wanted to start with the Pick Six just so we could get more time with our interviewers. I'm excited, and this is going to be amazing later. But let's get into this, man. Hilliard-Bradley versus Thomas Worthington, the first game of the Pick Six. And, look, I saw Thomas Worthington play at the Classic, okay, and they were really impressive. Another Sullinger in the pipeline, all right, and they have some other outstanding players. But, look, Hilliard-Bradley, man, they just continue to get it done on the defensive end. They don't care who's out there, who they're playing against.
They don't care who scores for their own team. And one thing I want to say about Bradley, because I was reading some tweets this week, they're supposed to play Oak Ridge down in Florida for Flying to the Hoop. Now, that game got canceled due to the snow. A couple people had said, I wonder if Bradley's going to try and do the same thing that Boone, the team down in Florida that literally held the ball for the whole half, did against Oak Ridge and ended up beating them. I think the most misunderstood thing about Hilliard-Bradley basketball is the possessions are long because they make you take a minute to get a shot. I mean, when they defend that pack line defense that they have, when they're literally packing it in, contesting every shot, closing out on every shooter, and swarming 2 to 3 defenders every time you get the ball in the paint, like it takes forever to get a shot.
Absolutely.
With Bradley, it's not them holding the ball and taking long possessions. It's literally them making you work to find a shot. and that's why they hold teams to under 50 points just about every game. I think a lot of respect and credit needs to go to Matt Alaco and A.J. Mergen on that defensive perimeter. They have shut down just about every guard they've went up against. Jalen Solinger last night, who, as good as any sophomore point guard in the area, he was held to 2 points, and Thomas Worthington was held to 8 total points in the second half.
When I seen that stat, it absolutely blew my mind, 8 points in the second half. But real quick, because this is on me today, I take the responsibility on this. This segment, the pick six that Zach just told you about how impressive Hilliard Bradley is on the defensive end, it is brought to you by Just Hoops by Shootaway. Just Hoops is a basketball training facility located in Powell Lewis Center, just 10 minutes from Interstate 270 off Route 23. If you haven't been there before, you have to check it out. We've told you this for weeks now. You've got to get there and check it out. The facility has 10 shoot-away guns for players to maximize their shooting reps, while also featuring ball handling stations and Vertimax training. On top of all that, Just Hoops has a tremendous staff of coaches developing players on all levels. Just Hoops offers a free trial session for first-time visitors. Check them out at justhoopscolumbus.com. That is justhoopscolumbus.com. Get in there and get some shots up. But let's get back into the pick six. Or let's focus on Thomas Worthington for a minute, okay? Because off to a great start, all right? What's the outlook? I mean, look, Hilliard Bradley
will do this against everybody.
Absolutely. So I don't want them to be discouraged because they're having an outstanding season.
Thomas, they've already doubled their win total from last year. They won 5 games. A year ago they got 10 wins already. They're a great team. They can compete with just about anybody in the area, but they're just a bad matchup for what Bradley does because Jalen Solinger, when he's on a roll, that's when Thomas is at their best.
Yes.
But Bradley, what they do is shut down point guards. And that's the last 2 matchups. Solinger's really struggled against that Bradley defense. As a whole, I mean, the scoring last night, they didn't have a single guy over 11 points. In the first matchup, Ben White had 12 points, and he was their leading scorer again. So if you can't have multiple guys over about 13 to 14 points, you're not going to have a shot against Bradley when they're defending like they usually do.
I do. I totally agree, man. I like Ben White, though. When I got a chance to see him play, man, for the first time, I thought he was very impressive, man. But, again, this is the kind of defense that Bradley plays, and this is what it'll do to you. Talk about Matt Alaco for a moment, just, what he continues to do, one of the best players in Central Ohio, for sure.
Matt is incredible. He reminds me a lot of Kevin Venata, who was at Upper Arlington back in 2014. Where he's not, a super athlete, not the greatest shooter from the perimeter, but just a tough kid that won't be denied. What Matt does now, he's really changed his offensive game up in the last 2 years. When he was a freshman, it was a lot of perimeter shots. He had a 36-point game, I believe, as a freshman off 10 threes. Now, I don't know if he's even hit 10 threes all season, but he's 6'4", he's long, he's strong, he's posting guys up on the block, and can finish at an elite level under the rim. He's probably the best under-the-rim finisher that you'll find in Central Ohio, and just a great leader on the defensive side of the ball. He communicates as well as anybody in the area, and part of the reason why Bradley is so good on defense is Matt Alaco, directing the troops, kind of serving as the middle linebacker for that defense.
Yes.
And, making sure guys are where they're supposed to be.
And he has some big defensive ends up front with Zach Hummel and
Chris Mayfield. When you got those guys, in your front court, you're going to muscle teams. But with Bradley, I do want to send my best wishes out to Jack Pugh. He has a broken ankle, will need surgery, so he's out for the rest of the year.
Get well, Jack, for
tough
sure.
Break for a kid that really works hard and works hard at it, and he feels like he let his teammates down. We don't want him to think that injuries are unfortunate. It's something that we really can't control. So shout out to Jack. Get healthy, and we can't wait to see you next year on the hardwood with Alaco again in Mayfield and see what Bradley can do.
Wow. 47-31, they get the win over Thomas Worthington. Let's move on to game number 2 of the Pick Six. You got a chance to get to this game last night. Pick Central versus Pick North. So let's set the scene. This game was going to be on our Pick Six regardless, but let's set the scene for Pick Central on the boys' side, what they were going to be facing moving forward after, the halfway point of the year.
Yeah, so after game number 11, it was finally ruled by the OHSA that Jay Rogers and Sam Towns will be ineligible for the second half of the season. For Pick Central, that's a huge loss. Those are 2 senior starters, guys that were combining for, I believe, about 23 to 24 points per game, and 2 guys that can really kind of create their own shot. And in last night's game, creating offense is what they really struggled with in the half court. This was going to be their first matchup against a competitor, a contender, and someone that would challenge and basically test, the depth that Central has. There's 2 words to describe last night's game: Jack Sawyer. That's literally all I need to say.
Jack Sawyer, man, friend of the program, man. Big night last night. Big double-double with 28 and 12.
28 and 12. It was efficient. I mean, he was talking his talk. He's got like a Baker Mayfield type edge to him, where if he's going to take it to you, he's going to let you know about it too. So, big fan of Jack. He dominated that game from the opening tip. I was really impressed with the energy that North came out with. They came out aggressive. Coach Bates used a different lineup too.
Mm-hmm.
He started seniors Mike Lowry and Adrian Clark to kind of beef up the front end because Central, they were without Colton Landis as well. So you're missing your top 2 front court guys in Landis and Towns. And Bates was looking to, pound him on the inside, and that's exactly what happened. North held him scoreless in the last 4:30 of the first quarter. Ended up leading about, I think, 27-9 or 24-9 at some point in the second quarter. And Jack was outstanding. They held Central to 17 points at half, and Jack had 15 himself. So great performance by North for them. Getting boat raced by Logan on Tuesday.
Yes. Logan, definitely a boat race.
Boat race. I mean, totally different team. But maybe they were looking ahead on Tuesday. Who knows?
Possible.
Logan deserves all the credit in the world, though. That's a great team with a lot of seniors and a great coach in Chris Ryder.
We started with Pick North. What's the outlook for them going forward? Obviously, we want to get into Pick Central, about what their outlook is. But, I mean, how far is this a district champion, regional finalist team? Jack Sawyer, can he lead them there?
I think he can. I mean, you can take whoever you want in the area. We had our 270 staff roundtable, and one of the questions was if you could start a high school program with any player and any coach in the area, who would you take? I took Jack Sawyer. I mean, if you can get that kid the ball and give him space, he's going to score on everyone. He's got the turnaround jumper. He's strong. He can post up. He can hit transition threes. He can handle the ball. He can rebound. Like, he literally does everything. And at 6'6" and probably 220 pounds, he's chiseled. No one's going to move him on the block. So last night his defense was incredible too. Bodying guys, guarding Garner Wallace. He guarded El Hadji Thyme for Pick Central as well, and really held his ground and kind of shut those guys down a little bit.
Pick Central, let's talk about it. Javon Garcia, a lot's going to be put on his shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Do they have, the within the team, knowing what they lost, can they round up the troops? Can they make a run here?
Oh, they're Pick Central. They're always going to have, that opportunity, and they usually seem to get it done. They always, every year, it seems like they face some type of adversity in January, where everyone thinks it's the end of the world, and then they, pile it on together, and they're just fine. What they were missing, and we can't overlook this, is Colton Landis was out last night. Colton,
that's a big deal, man.
With Jay and Sam out, Colton's probably their second best player. He can body up with Sawyer a little better than the guys they had last night. So he would have made definitely an impact in that game. And when he comes back, they're going to need him to produce. But JG, it's on him now. And North knew that. I mean, they were sending 2 or 3 guys every time he tried to get to the lane and really packing it in and forcing Pick Central to make shots, which they really struggled to do last night. They hit 3 of their 5 threes in the last 3 minutes of the game. So up to that point, it was a desert out there. They couldn't get anything to fall, and they struggled. I mean, all credit in the world to North. They played excellent team defense. A kid that I thought played really well was Adreese Lawrence, the sophomore guard.
Hey,
big fan of him. He's another tough kid.
He is, man, tough. We talked about him last week when we got a chance to see him play against Dublin Kaufman. That's my that's a little Felton Spencer out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's my guy. So definitely looking for impressive things from him in the backcourt. And again, Pick North impressive. Pick Central back to the drawing board, but they'll get things righted. They'll be back, led by Javon Garcia. No question here in my mind that they'll be one of those teams. We get around the districts in the tournament for sure.
They've won 4 of the last 5 district titles, so that's what Pick Central does. Last year, at one point, they were 9-9 or 8-9, something like that, and they won the region and went to the state. So
absolutely,
I think they'll be just fine. It's going to take some young guys to step up. Even though they're juniors, Tyleek Walker and Connor Masig are 2 kids that have had an easier load on the offensive end the last few years. Now, they're in a stepped-up role, and they're going to have to really increase their production, which I think they're capable of. Those are 2 of the better junior guards in the area. So it's just adjusting to the new rotation and guys having to step into roles that they may not be used to.
Yes. Let's move on. Game number 3, game I was at last night. Above the Rim type atmosphere. For y'all young people out there, go Google that movie. Shout out to Tupac, man. South versus Walnut Ridge. Look, man, Von Cameron Davis, man, VCD. You know what I mean? He wanted this game last night. Yeah. He played like it last night. Shout out to the Bulldogs, man. First loss in the year. Came in the game ranked number 3 in the state in Division II. But just talk about your thoughts about Walnut Ridge overall. I was at the game. I'll open it up, man. Look, Von Cameron, he came out with man on a mission, right? They triple teamed him. They double teamed him early in the game in the first quarter. It was tough for him to get off some shots. He had some drives going to the bucket. It was a very physical game early in the game. First 3 quarters, very physical. Bodies on the ground, bodies getting knocked over. But then, man, Walnut Ridge, credit to them, they made some adjustments, man. Von Cameron stepped out on the perimeter, started putting the ball on the ground. He made a couple threes, and it was like a bull in the china shop, man. He was going to get his down in the post, and he was a problem down there, man.
So for you, did he expand that offensive game more than maybe the first time around where it was really exclusively around the basket?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's good for him because he has Kavion Ross, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily on him for the offensive and defensive rebounds. But he did expand the game. Again, he was able to put the ball on the floor, not necessarily breaking the press, and you know what I mean? But they were looking for him early, you know what I mean, to get the ball in his hands, whether it, before the foul line, 3-point line and free throw line extended. And he was impressive, man. He really – it was a toughness that he showed because he knew what they were doing to him early. And he made the adjustments, 26 big points, a lot of rebounds. But again, man, somebody that really impresses me for Walnut Ridge, and they don't give a lot of touches to, is Kavion, man. I feel like they could go to Kavion every time down in the post and still get whatever they want.
Because he's not gonna have the biggest defender. That guy's gonna be on Von Cam most times. So
yes, and on top of that, Ross is not going to take bad shots. Yeah. He know where he is, where he wants to be, down within the post, and I think he's a good shot maker from down there, man.
Those two are gonna be the key for them.
Yes, they didn't get much from the backcourt last night. Again, Keon Magwood, we all know, one of the best athletes in the state, football, basketball. He had another quiet performance. He hasn't had that explosion like he did against Eastmore last year, and when he just kind of went off. So, especially in the big games, Hilliard Bradley, South High School, and some others that Walnut Ridge has been in. So, I'm still looking for him to have that explosion where he comes out, makes a couple big jump shots, and then is a deadly going to the cup. But he still led the team. They had a sequence, I think, in the third quarter where they held the ball for like a minute and a half. Wow. And Keon was out there running the show. So shout out to Magwood, man, just leading his team as a point guard and letting Von Cameron really do his thing, man.
Now for South, this is their first loss. Where do you think they go from here? The City League South is, certainly probably out of the question now.
Yes.
Do you still think they're, the number 1 team in Division II across the board?
I still think the number 1 team in Division II for sure. For South, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I know Coach Spears. I know the program a little bit. I think this is a teachable moment for them. Yep. I think Coach Spears and his staff, one of the best staffs in the area, I think that they'll use this game to say, listen, man, this isn't the team that we've been before. But South, to their credit, man, they've played a tough schedule. Yep. They went out of state. They won a tournament, down in Miami. So I think maybe a little bit of helium, a little bit full of themselves.
Yeah. Sometimes with young teams especially, it's almost better to take that loss early on in the season than to be undefeated and, let all your dreams crash in the tournament. So,
absolutely.
I think for South, this is a humbling moment for them, definitely. Trey Watkins is a senior, and he had mentioned to me, like, this is as far as, just maturity, like one of the more immature teams that he's been on. So I think this might be definitely, like you said, a teachable moment for them to, grow up a little bit and, take some fire and toughness into the rest of their games. Because from what I had heard from people that were there, they said it was like the one game all season where South had kind of played selfish.
Selfish, man. Hero ball. A lot of hero ball. Trey Watkins, we all know, the great jump shooter, man. They played a selfish game. Marcus Johnson, Bink, shout out Hoodie Bink, Taquan Singleton, man. Singleton, they all had their moments of not playing within the team. One thing I do know, Zach, Coach Spears, he'll get it corrected.
No, absolutely.
He'll get it corrected.
He's as good as they come, coaching wise, and if there's something he doesn't like, he's gonna fix it, or you're not gonna be on the team anymore. So he'll get it done. I think for them, they may not have a city championship to play for, but they're gonna make a run and want to get out of the regionals for the first time in a very long time.
Absolutely, man. So that's what I took from the Bulldogs. And again, for Walnut Ridge, man, just continue to ride Von Cameron Davis, VCD. Continue and use more Kavion Ross. That kid, he has some size.
He was a 20-10 guy last year, Hamilton Township. I mean,
and there's no reason he shouldn't be close to that. Yeah, absolutely.
He's capable of it every night. Like you mentioned, he's highly efficient despite limited usage. So I'm a big fan of Kavion. He's a banger in the post. He doesn't try to do things out of his capabilities, and he sticks to what he's good at, and he's really good around the basket. So in that first matchup, he played 37 minutes and gave it his all game long. So I think for Ridge going forward, obviously the backcourt's going to have to produce at a higher level, but you got to ride that front court because not many teams have that mix of size and athleticism.
It's amazing. Let's move on in the Pick 6. Brought to you by Just Hoops here on the Central Ohio Hoops Report. Worthington Christian, Grandview. I talked about this team, Worthington Christian. Hey, man, very impressive. I like what they got there.
Dandy.
Man, go ahead. Talk about
DJ Moore.
Yes.
Tough. 19 points last night for Worthington Christian. They get a huge win over a Grandview Heights team that was at full strength. Luke Lachey's back from mono. And
welcome back, Luke.
Welcome back, Luke. It's good to see you out there on the court again. But for Grandview, a lot of people thought that was going to be the team in the MSL Ohio division to run the table. Worthington Christian gets a great win. DJ leads all scorers with 19 points. No one else on his team had more than 7. So it looks like he kind of took the onus on himself to deliver the win there.
I mean, that kid looks like he has the goods, man.
He does. 6'3", point guard, combo guard, smart. Can get to the basket at will.
Look at that smile, man. You like talking about this young man.
Hey, he's got a chance. He's got a chance.
Worthington Christian, again, impressive. Grandview, they'll get it back going now that Luke's back. They'll be able to.
They didn't have anybody in double figures last night. Let's see. Luke Lachey and Brian Cawley are their top 2 scorers who came in averaging about 36 combined. Were held to 10 points total. So that'll do it right there. I mean, credit to Worthington Christian for their defense. They have a good young group.
This is a team you need to watch. If you get an opportunity, if not on a Friday night, but once the tournament starts, get out, see Worthington Christian.
And if not this year, next year, I think they're the team to beat in Division III because they have a sophomore transfer coming in. He's going to be there on Tuesday. I'm not going to say who he is, but he's going to be a difference maker for them next season. So just keep an eye. Worthington Christian is going to be – I think they can compete for a Division III district title this year, but I think next year they might be – the team to beat because with this roster right now, they really only have 1 or 2 seniors in that top 10. So everybody's back, and when your best player is a freshman, you got a chance to be really good.
Let's move on. Dublin Kaufman, my guy, DP3, Dom Penn, Dublin Kaufman, the team that you say is the best team in Central Ohio right now. They took on Hilliard-Davidson, a team that's underrated. Not many people know about the Hilliard-Davidson program. They have players over there. This was a tough game last night. Dublin Kaufman, they get the victory by 10. They remain undefeated, and you love the way this team is playing. I love their leader, man. Sky's the limit for Kaufman right now, right?
Absolutely.
This is their time.
It's their time, but last night their leading scorer came off the bench. Keaton Turner is a junior guard.
Man.
May not be known around the area, but this kid is a stud. I think he's, in that 2020 class, a top 5 point guard at least. He had 22 points off the bench last night. Really provided a spark for Kaufman because they were down 7-0 to start out the game. Keaton came in and really sparked the offense. When you have him and Dom in the backcourt, two of the best ball handlers in the area, two of the best creators, and then, like you mentioned, so fast and quick on defense. You mix that with the wings they got between Luke Bartimus and Derek Van Vlera and Will Hunter. This is a tough team. I mean, they got 8 guys who can pass, dribble, and shoot, which in high school basketball you think that would be pretty common, but it's really not. So the Rocks, all across the board, they got depth, and the biggest thing is they play for each other. Jamie Collins is an excellent coach. I like that he really adjusts his offensive scheme to what talent he has and the players he has to
Yes.
maximize what they do really well. So if you haven't seen Kaufman yet, they play at a high pace. They get the ball moving. They remind me a lot of some of those European teams you'll see.
They do.
In Eurobasket or in the Olympics.
They take a lot of threes.
So they take a lot of threes. They swing the ball around. They try to play at a high tempo, and it's really successful for them. They're capable of scoring 25 to 30 points in any quarter, and that's what they did last night. They outscored Davidson 25 to 14 in the fourth quarter to take that win.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Davidson program, man. Again, when you lose to these top teams, undefeated teams, sometimes you can get down on yourself. But this is a program I think that's on the upswing just for the remainder of this year, and a team that can maybe win a couple games in the tournament.
Well, the biggest thing is they're all seniors, and they have a ton of size. When you have 4 or 5 guys over 6'5", you're going to be bigger than just about every team in high school basketball. That's the case for them. Gage Keys came back from injury, the junior center, which to me was going to be the difference maker for them. It just gives them another piece in the interior. He had 11 points last night. Jacob Dries, the senior, had 12. And Caleb Stimmel, Carson Felicity, and Christian Gilliland all combined for about 25 points. They have size. They have seniors. They have depth. It's just going to be scoring the basketball. Sometimes they can get stagnant on offense and really not put a ton of points up. But I would not be surprised. In a couple weeks, they do play Hilliard Bradley. And they match up really well. Like the identity of both teams, just tough, rugged, football kind of style.
Yes, absolutely.
Basketball teams. They match up in a couple weeks. Davidson handed Bradley their only regular season loss last year. I think if Bradley's going to lose a regular season game, this might be the one against Davidson. The Wildcats, they've been right there with some of the top teams. Their losses right now, 2 to Kaufman and 1 to Upper Arlington with Max Martz, where Sammy Sass had a steal and score at the buzzer. So
this is an impressive team.
They're an impressive team. I think there's someone that could be a sleeper that maybe makes a run for a district title this year. Because when you have seniors like that and you have size, usually when the game gets tight and it slows down, it usually pays off for teams like that. So I think Davidson, they're going to be right there. They just got to find a way to score the basketball at a higher level because when Kaufman got rolling last night, it seemed like they really struggled.
All right, man, let's get into the last game of the Pick Six so we can get into, your stars of the night and then get into our interview with 2 of the best players in America, the country, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. So the last game of the Pick Six, Bexley versus Whitehall. What's your expectations going forward for both of these teams?
I think they're 2 teams. Whitehall, unfortunately, with competitive balance, they got moved up to Division I, so they really should be a Division II team. Now they're in D1 where it's a gauntlet every single year. They're a young team. There's some of their top guys are sophomores. Talon Kofer was their guy last night. He had, I think, 19 points and then hit the game winner for them. He's a senior, but outside of that, you got Royal Sibley, Kevon Wiggins, Jayon Lowe, and some other sophomores that can really play and have high upside. So the Rams, it may not be this year. I think they can still compete for the MSL Ohio title this year, but I think next year they could be a sleeper team in Division I. But for Bexley and D2, they're going to be, again, right there. Last year they got hot towards the end of the regular season. This year seemed to get hot in the last week or so. When you got guys like Nasir Tucker and Ryan Callahan that are, 2 tough senior guards, you got a chance to, make a run in D2 especially. So,
Nas, what up, man? Shout out, Nas.
Yeah, shout out to Nas. That's the first Nas player I've seen. That was my favorite rapper back in high school. So he had a big week a couple weeks ago, won 270 Hoops Player of the Week. But I think Bexley's going to be right there in the mix for the MSL Ohio, and in D2 they could have a chance to make a run for a district title.
So look, that's going to wrap up the Pick Six, brought to you by Just Hoops. And look, in closing, also at Just Hoops, their new technology allows them to track every shot each player takes, so they can say at the end of the month, week, and year how many shots they put up from what spot on the floor and what their percentage is from that spot. It also has a leaderboard so you can compete with others. So look, if you want to get your jump shot better, if you want to get your game better, check out Just Hoops, man. And that's a very impressive place for any basketball player to go and get some work. So make sure you check out Just Hoops, all right? That is going to wrap it up for the Pick Six. Zach is going to get into one of his favorite parts of the show. That's his stars of the night, his top scores. You got a couple there?
I got 5 from last night. We talked about the first 2 already. Von Cameron Davis had 26 points last night to lead Walnut Ridge over South.
VCD.
Another dominant performance for him. He's been so good this year that 26 is below his average. So
yes.
When you can do that, you're a pretty big-time player. Jack Sawyer, again, 28 points last night. Bilal So, our boy
Hey, man.
Canal Winchester.
Hey, if you don't know about Canal Winchester, man, they still don't have a loss on the year.
14-0. Bilal So.
Man, impressive.
30 points last night. They scored 89 points on a big one.
They've scored 100. They've scored 90.
They've averaged about 92 points a game, I think, in the last week or so.
Wake up, man. Go check out Canal Winchester for sure.
Canal is hooping right now. Let's see. Keely Elmore had 34 points last night for Northland in a win over International. Keely, as tough as they come in the City League.
Yes, for sure. No
Northland is, a game back of Beechcroft right now. If they can beat Beechcroft, they will actually win. They will get the City League tie because Beechcroft made it last year. So if they can tie, it seem like Northland would never get a tie in the City League and win a tiebreaker because of that. They got Northland here in a couple weeks. They can, stay, without any losses in the City League North and take down Northland or take down Beechcroft. They'll have a chance to go back to the City League Championship. And our top scorer was Callie Davis of Afrocentric, the junior guard, 35 points against Marion Franklin. Callie is one of the best scorers in the City League. He's a junior this year. I think next year you could see him really taking a step up and having a Trey Baumgartner-type senior year for the Nubians, who in Division III, don't sleep on them next year. Afrocentric is young this year, but they have a lot of talent. Coach Bates is as good as they come as far as developing young players and, really maximizing their potential. So Callie Davis, he's going to be a name to watch this summer and especially next year as a senior.
That's your star tonight, man. That's your top scorer, man. Callie Davis, man. Shout out Afrocentric, man.
One more shout out. Shout out to Sean Marks from Olentangy. He had 22 points last night and became the all-time leading scorer at Olentangy. So shout out to Sean. He's been a big-time player for the last 4 years and just someone who's played in all of our events and has really brought it every single game.
Shooter.
So, shout out to Sean Marks. He's going to Ohio Dominican. And shout out to my boy Dan Evans at ODU for getting one of the very best players in Ohio.
Absolutely. This is my favorite part of the interview of the shows right here, man. The interviews, we get to showcase the incredible talent that we have right here in our own backyard in Central Ohio. It's really an honor to have these two young ladies on today, man. You got a chance to see them last night. I've seen them a couple of different times, and they take me back to a time in Columbus, man, where it was heavy with the basketball. I'm talking about like legends like Tamika Patterson at South High School and Helen Darling over at Brookhaven, and just some of the greats, man. And that's who we have on the show today, man. Let's get them on from Pickerington Central, all right? State champions. Zach, man, let me say this one more time, man. Two of the best players in America.
In the country.
No question about it. I don't care about top 100, any of that. You looking at them right now. Malia Perry, Madison Green. Malia, the commit to Auburn University. Madison, the commit to Penn State. Looking for their second consecutive back-to-back state championship this year. Ladies, welcome to the Central Ohio Hoops Report. What's up? How y'all feeling?
Feeling good. How are you? Yeah, feeling good.
Hey, very good. Thank you. Listen, we could start in so many places. Let's just talk about last night. You guys had a big game. Pickerington North versus Pickerington Central, always huge. You guys get the big victory last night. Just talk about how you guys felt out there, and just talk about how the season's been going so far.
Yeah, sure. The season has been going great so far. We've been playing well as a team. Sharing the ball well. We've been making our shots. We're a really good shooting team this year, and we pride ourselves on defense. And we've been really killing it, getting a lot of steals and all that. And last night just proved like how great of a team we are. We play together and we got the job done.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I think that we've been having a solid season. We have had one loss, so we've had that humbling experience. So we know what it takes. We're the Division I champions from last year, and we know what to get done. We know we can't get too complacent, and we always have to play with that chip on our shoulder because every night somebody's going to want to have to come after us, and we have to play, like we're the best, and we have to hold it down for our school. So.
Yeah, last night's performance, this is the first time I've seen you guys since I think when you both were freshmen. So started out hot. Malia, you had, it looks like 15 points in the first half. You got it going there in the first quarter especially. Your offensive game is very, very polished from the mid-range especially.
Yes, it is.
Just talk about, how you attack on the offensive end and what things you do really well.
I've started to notice that I can be more of like a slasher. I've kind of, as the years been going on, found what my game was. I'm not just a shooter. I shouldn't just stand on the three-point line. I've figured out that I can actually get to the rim. I'm actually stronger than what I used to think I was. So as I've started to develop in my game and working on my craft, I've started to notice like little things like the lanes getting open. So me just going and, doing more than just being a shooter. So I have more, more to my name for people to respect.
Absolutely. No question. I mean, look, in my opinion, you do it all.
Hey.
I've said.
Look at the stat line last night. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals.
She does it all.
She does it all.
Yes.
I mean, she filled it up last night on the glass, in transition around the basket, and especially, shooting that mid-range jump shot around the free throw line.
Yeah.
It was money last night, automatic. So.
Go ahead, give me some of Madison's numbers, man.
Hey, Madison, so you thought Malia was good. Madison, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 8 steals.
The 8 steals.
And they both played about 2.5 quarters, I would say.
Unbelievable. Look, Madison, what I want to ask you is, being the point guard, being the the leader, just talk about how that impacts your game. When do you feel like it's necessary for you to take over in games offensively, knowing that you have a great player on the side of you like Malia? And just talk about how your game has evolved from a freshman to now as a senior and one of the top point guards in America.
Yes, I feel like my game has developed, a lot from my freshman year. Freshman year I came in from 8th grade, and me and Malia, both of us, we came in and we made an impact right away. And I feel like we've helped Pick Central, get back on top to where they're supposed to be, and I'm very happy about that. Yeah, my game, I just try to be the best leader I can be. I feel like I've developed over the years from my freshman to senior year now. Instead of just being leading by example, I'm trying to lead more vocally now, and hopefully, that's working.
It is.
And it's showing. But I just try to play my best game every game, try to motivate my team during the game, before the game, during halftime, and Malia does too, she's a great leader as well. So I'm just, blessed to be a part of this team and just do what we do.
And then someone who's not on the show I was really impressed with was Nicole Stevens. I haven't seen all the shooters in the area on the girls' side, but she has to be up there with the elite. She just committed to Akron not too long ago. Playing with her so you guys both can get to the basket and create. What's it like having an automatic shooter out there that you can dish to at any time?
I think it's great, having an extra person. It's always good, especially with our team, because anybody could be the leading scorer that night. It's not like one person is scoring 20 each night. It's like it doesn't matter who it is. Somebody's going to get to the basket. Somebody's going to make a shot. That's what I like about our team, especially having Nicole, seeing her in the corner, having that confidence in your teammate, knowing that she's going to knock it down is definitely a confidence booster, especially for a team. And it's a great thing to have.
Yes, of course. Like, me and Malia, we're like the main people that people think about, like, oh, we got to stop them. But just having the extra pieces that we have, like, we have a very talented team, that people tend to forget about, like, how talented we are, and just have people like Nicole, stepping up and just being there, it releases the pressure off of us, so we can, make like better decisions and it helps us win games.
I like to take it back, you know what I mean? Like, we see you now, seniors, young ladies, great basketball players, great role models for the young people in the community. But let's talk about when you were young. Was it always basketball? Did you ever play another sport, soccer? Was it, whatever it may be? Or was it always from day one the basketball and, this is, the sport that you chose to, to get where you are today?
Well, me, honestly, it's funny. If I was, like, if you was asked me, do you think I would be where I'm at when I was in 6th grade, I would sit there and tell you that you're crazy. And no, because I honestly never thought about basketball. Actually, I wasn't even really going to get serious about it. My best friend at the time, Uju, she plays for Reynoldsburg. She was like, I used to go to Reynoldsburg when I was younger. She was like, hey, you should try out for our team. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not really into basketball. But, I gave it a shot. And then, I've never played any other sports, so basketball was pretty much my main focus. So since 6th grade, that's what I've been doing. It's just playing basketball, getting better.
Hold on, you say you picked up a basketball 6th grade?
Yeah, 6th grade.
How impressive with that? I mean, you hear these stories all the time.
5 years.
Yeah, especially
pretty
on
much,
on the boys' side. They're like, oh, he just started playing basketball. No, 6th grade, and now in basically all of about 5 years.
5.5 years.
Yeah, you've developed your game that much. Just talk about the progression from it. 6th grade, you walk out there. I'm sure you're not the best player. You know, I'm sure it was kind of awkward for you. But just talk about what you've been through, the development, the progression to get to be the player you are now.
Yeah, Madison knows when I was in 6th grade, I was a little overweight. I wasn't that athletic. I wasn't that. I didn't think I would, end up where I am. But as the years progressed, like 7th grade, I stretched out. I was probably like 5'9" in 7th grade, just balling on girls. And then I started getting real serious. So I started training with Tanya McClure-Harris. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her. She went to Ohio State. She was a Gahanna alum. We just hit the gym 5 a.m. every morning. She just told me that she was going to get me ready and she was going to develop me. So as the years went on, we just got every year progressed, and I just seen myself develop each and every year. And it just was more of a drive. Like, I just wanted to get better. So every year I would focus on something different. And I still do it now. I don't think my game is perfect. I know I always have something to work on. I always have a chip on my shoulder. So that's how you get better, is you just want to learn. If somebody has something to say, you take it in and you develop yourself.
Just real quick, Madison, now as far as your progression from a young player, just talk about for you, were there any other sports growing up, any other sports that had your interest, or has it always been the basketball for you?
Nah, it's always been basketball. My dad is the reason that I play basketball. He's the one that got me into it. I've been playing since I was 2, dribbling the ball. I started playing games 3rd grade, so it's always been basketball. But the great thing is it's not just basketball. I'm not just a basketball player. I'm like an overall person. I go out. I spend time with my friends. Go swimming. I go to the Y. I have a great life and a very supportive family that has helped me, mature me and, teach me about life, and it's just a huge blessing.
Absolutely.
And for you, I feel like, I hadn't covered a lot of girls basketball the last few years. Even when you were a freshman, I knew your name. So you came in with a lot of high expectations. How has your career been handling those expectations and then continuing to get better each year? Like, what have you had to do in order to, not let the hype get to your head?
I don't try to pay attention, to the outside. I just, try to focus on myself, making myself better mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all that. And just having a great team next to me and great coaches and a great family. They've helped me, stay sane, it's a lot, but and trying to balance life, in school, it's hard.
Recruiting.
Yes.
Making these decisions.
Mm-hmm. It's been tough, but just like committing, that released a lot of pressure off my shoulders. Definitely this year. So I'm just out here to have fun. Help lead my team to championships, which hopefully we can. I'm very confident. But it's been a great ride. Just developing my game, just watching film. Seeing how much I progressed as a leader, as a scorer, as a defender. It's great.
In this 2019 class, you guys are just 2 of a handful of big-time talent in Central Ohio. The girls, they don't get as much support and attention as the boys do. What are your thoughts on just this 2019 class in the area? You got girls like Jordan Horston going to Tennessee, Gabby Hutcherson going to Ohio State, J.C. Sheldon going to Ohio State. What's it like playing with and against all those girls, coming up?
And not just the Central Ohio, because you 2 are national players. Mm-hmm. So let's just use Ohio in general. You got Zaya Cook that you know very well. So you just the whole. All the players that you got a chance to, see and play with in Ohio. What do you think about this class? Yes.
Yeah, I think personally, all of us have played with each other, like whether it was just like a camp or I think we're all just hungry. Like we all have like that one goal, and we all knew that, in order to achieve that, we all had to work. So I think it's great that Ohio, especially Ohio, put it on for us. I know we're probably for recruiting, we're probably up there in the top. We have a lot of great players. Jordan Horston, great player. Who else is? Summer Pitchner. I don't know if you guys ever seen her from Westville South. She's going to Indiana State. Summer, great player. I played AAU with her. I just think everybody, personally, I like to see everybody do good. You know, it's great to see all these girls go in Division I. Even if college is college, no matter where you go, it's just good to see everybody being able to play on that next level, no matter where you're going.
Yeah, it like she said, you know, we play against these people all the time. You know, we play with them, against them. You know, it's been a great process. You know, just to see how they develop as well. Not only us, but you know, just having those competitors. You know, they help make us better. They help make us work. They show us like, oh, they're like this. Oh, they're this good. Oh, we gotta work hard. We gotta be better than them. You know, and you know, it's been
We
great.
have a comment here from Kurt Stubbs who says, no better player, boy or girl, in Central Ohio in crunch time than Madison Green. And Kurt knows every player. He knows the backup second baseman for the baseball team across the street. So for that, that's extremely high praise. You know, Kurt does his homework and watches a lot of basketball. So
Yes, sir. Thank you.
and to get those honors, I mean, you've had to do it on the big time. You guys are coming off a state championship. What has it been like since you are state champions? Does it feel different now? Are teams coming at you differently, or is it kind of the same old thing?
It still feels surreal. Like I still like wake up and think like, wow, I'm a state champion, because it's just one of those opportunities. Like not too many people can say I'm a state champion, but going into this year, we definitely knew that we had a chip on our shoulder. I still think that teams are. Even though like last year teams were after us, I think they're even more after us just because we have that, you know, we have that on our back. But like I said, we can't get complacent with anything. We still gotta make sure that we do stay as a team, you know, just stay like our sisterhood is like no other. And I feel like if we just keep playing and playing together and keep going, I think we have a good chance of just making a run again.
Yeah, like teams are on our backs now. Like we like throughout the years, you know, that we've been like one of the top teams, but now since we won the state, you know, they're definitely, you know, coming after us, giving it their all every game. You know, whether they think they can beat us or not, they're going all out trying to upset us or, you know, just beat us, you know, because it's crazy. But I'm just proud of the team and how we've won the championship. I feel like we could do it again as long as we, you know, stay together. You know, we're a different team than we were last year. So, you know, we're smaller and we have different leaders now. So it's just going to be different, but I feel like we can do it.
Fun question here. Who's your favorite basketball player? Men or women?
I personally, my all-time favorite has always been Allen Iverson. Love his game.
I like that.
Don't get no better than him.
Makes
I like
sense.
that.
Madison?
Well, my favorite player is Sue Bird. You know, she's just a great overall player. You know, she does what I do, and she's one of my inspirations. So I try to play like her sometimes. Even Coach COHSS, she compares me to her all the time. So it's just funny. Like, she's my inspiration. I'm trying to play like her. So, yeah.
For me, too, I think a lot of people have misconceptions on women's and girls basketball in general. For someone who may not know a lot or have ever gone to a girls basketball game, just tell them, you know, what are they missing out on if they're not going to come and see you guys play?
Fundamental basketball. You
Yes.
don't get no better than that. You'll see, like, with men's basketball, they're a lot more aggressive. They're like more up tempo. But with the women's, you'll actually see, you know, we love the game. We're compassionate about it. We get our teammates involved. You don't really ever see one-on-one. I mean, there are times where girls play one-on-one, but overall, it's just a team effort, and I feel like we play overall basketball. And that's what
I would agree. I think last night in the game against Pick North, the way you guys passed the ball as a team was incredible. You know, you have star talent between you and Madison and Nicole and others on the roster, but you didn't care who scored. I mean, you guys, there was one possession I remember in the second half. You literally 8 or 9 passes, you got an easy look under the basket. Has it always been that way, or the coaching staff there at Pick Central done a good job to kind of instill that in you guys?
I don't think it's like before us. I don't know if it's been that way, but as long as that we've been in high school, it's always been a team effort. You know, if always look to pass ahead. If you see somebody open, like I think I remember in the game, I had a fast break, but Madison was ahead of me. It was the easier thing just to get it to her other than running all the way down the court for a layup. So just, you know, thinking of team before me is definitely what we try to do.
That's big time.
Yeah.
All right, hey, you know, I like to get my PSAs in here, man, on the academic side, man. Let's get it in right now. I want both of you ladies, I don't care who answers first or last. I want you both to just talk about the importance of academics, how it's played a role into affording you the opportunities that you have. You sign with Power 5 top programs in the country, but you wouldn't have had the opportunity without knocking out your books in the classroom. So just talk about the importance of it and, how seriously you take the school side.
Yeah, it's very important. Academics come first. That's why we were called student athletes, So academics has been very important in my life, just helping me get looks from different schools, and, my life is not just basketball. I have a bigger future ahead, and like what I study in college, I don't know yet, but whatever I study, is going to help prepare me for life ahead of just basketball. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like what Madison said, basketball doesn't last forever. Eventually it has to come to an end. So what's your plan B? What's your, your part 2 of life? So I always think that academics is very important. I know my dad has always stressed academics to me. Because, if you don't get the grades, you can't play. It doesn't matter. You can be the top player in the country, but if you don't have the grades to play, then none of that matters. So, hitting the books, just always doing that extra things to study and make sure that you're set for life. Because, basketball is okay, but, academics is what is important. So you got to always, keep that first because we are student athletes.
Absolutely. And you guys both are signed, committed to Power 5 schools. What was the recruiting process like for both of you? What were some schools that were coming after you, and what was it that, made you make the decision to, commit where you're at?
Mine was a bit stressful, especially towards my junior year. I felt like, as we were talking about, I felt like I was a little overlooked. Like I didn't get the looks that I felt like I should have got. But I knew it was God's plan. I knew that eventually that He would bring me to a school that, believed in me. So, I just felt like there was so many signs. Like, I got offered in July. I think it was, 2016 by Auburn. And, there was just so many signs. I'll just be walking in the mall and see an Auburn shirt. I'll be reading a book, and then something that says Auburn. So I'm like, and then I went on campus, and it was just amazing. The coaching staff is just great. Coach Flo knows what she's doing. They're such a defensive team, and they go after every night. They play with heart. I just think that the way they play it really fits me, and I think that that was the best place for me to go, and I think God led me there. So,
Madison, same question for you.
The reason I picked Penn State is because, the coaches, the staff, the players that I'm coming in with, I met them on my official visit. It was during the Penn State-Ohio State game, so that was just an amazing experience, first off. But, just the reason I made that decision is because, just the family atmosphere that I felt with the team, and I just feel like the way they play is, it fits me, it fits my style. And I feel like I could be there, I could be successful, I could be, everything I dreamed of being, and it's just been a great experience. But the recruiting process was stressful. I didn't think I would have made it to a Power 5, Big Ten school, But I'm glad they gave me a chance. I'm 5'6", I'm short. People don't necessarily, believe in short people, but I'm just glad they gave me a chance. And I'm just here to prove them right and, make them proud.
Now, defending state champs, the goal is to get back. What's it going to take to get back to that point and host that trophy once again?
I think it's just going to take, teamwork, effort, keeping God first, just believing in each other, just going after it, just keep playing with heart every night. We know that we have something to play for, and, we know that we never give up. So as long as we know that we went out there and we put our all into the floor, then I think we'll be very successful and we can make another run.
Right. Like you said, keep God first. We pray before every game, and we stay together. We're a family, and I feel like our bond is unbreakable. And, as long as we practice hard, the practices should be harder than the games. The games should just be out there having fun, doing what we do, and I feel like as long as we keep in the process of what we're doing, I feel like we can make it far.
We definitely are. We're pulling for all the Central Ohio teams, but this team right here, Pick Central, is definitely special. Let's talk about the McDonald's All-Americans. Let's talk about it. It's a list out there, the best players, seniors, in America. Both of your names are on this list. I mean, just talk about the feeling when you seen that.
Honestly, when I seen the tweet and I was like, I wonder if I'm going to be on this. I didn't know I was going to be on it. So when I see my name, I was definitely surprised. But it was definitely a great moment to feel, just being nominated as an All-American, that's a blessing. So it felt like everything that you work for, it's like right there. Because I've always been like, that'd be cool. That'd be an awesome experience to, be a McDonald All-American. And to get nominated is a true honor.
Madison?
Very much so. I wouldn't even. I don't follow the McDonald's All-American. Instagram, Twitter till now, but I didn't expect myself to be on there. Honestly, somebody tagged me in it, so I would have never known if somebody didn't tag me in it. But I was like, am I really on here? So I had to scroll through all the names, oh my gosh, my name really on here. It was a surprise, but like she said, it's a blessing. I'm very grateful, and whatever happens next, I don't know. But I'm just glad to be nominated. It's a blessing.
Well, I'll be excited. 270 Hoops will be covering the girls' district finals this year, so I hope to see you guys there, Division I. Is there any player or team, Malia, that you want to go up against this year and have a chance to meet on the court?
I definitely want to get back at Dublin Kaufman. Sophomore year, J.C. Shelton hit a 3 in the corner. I'll never forget that moment. I've always just wanted to have that, that revenge, that, that's always been just something. So I hope that we'll go up against Dublin Kaufman either in probably the districts or regionals, wherever, what bracket we jump in, what bracket they jump in. We're ready for war, so.
Yeah, honestly, same. Dublin Kaufman and Newark, we still have a little grudge against them. They took us out our freshman and sophomore year. But, I just feel like we could, as long as we still keep doing what we're doing, we can beat them, and I'm very positive that we can make it far in the tournament.
All right, so I like for you guys to shout out the people who have been influential to you. All right, and that's parents, coaches, teammates. Okay, you both been in basketball for Madison longer than Malia, only 5 years All-American. Yeah,
That's pretty good. That ain't bad at all.
But let's shout out some of the people who have nobody does these things alone. So let's give some credit to the people that have helped you get here. Again, parents, coaches, teammates, those people that you practice with every day.
Yeah.
Shout them out.
First, I just want to thank my dad. He's always been there for me, been my number one fan and also my number one critic. I want to thank the Horston family, Jordan, that's my best friend, Miss Horston, Mr. Horston. They've always been there every AAU tournament. If I was ever down, they picked me up. I want to thank Tanya McClure Harrison. I want to thank Shaq. I don't know if you guys know her. She played at OSU too. She played at Newark. And Tamika, I want to thank Tamika as well. And just everybody that's helped me get to where I am, my high school coach, Coach Hedgepeth, and Coach Wallace, and especially my college coaches, Coach Flo, Coach Walters, Coach Garcia, and Coach T, just for always believing in me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for getting me to where I am. And thank you guys for having us.
Of course. No, we thank you more. But I didn't know if you know this. Did you know that Coach Flo played at Penn State?
Yep, she played at Penn State, and she. Yeah, she. And I don't know if you guys know that. Boo Williams is her brother.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah, Boo Williams is her brother.
Hey, so she's everything today, man.
Yeah.
She coached at Butler for a while. I know a lot. So she knows her basketball. She does.
Definitely. So. Madison, same for you. Who you want to shout out?
Yeah,
I don't know right now why it's going viral.
I just want to shout out to my dad. Like I said, he's the one that got me into this. I'm gonna say thank you to my mom. For supporting me, and my grandmas, and all my friends and all my family that come out to my games every game. They come from an hour or two away, and they still show up every game. I'm just grateful. Some people don't have that support system or that family that come out there and just watch you play. But I'm very grateful and blessed that they can do that. And I want to say shout out to my best friend Mariah. She's always been there for me. Someone to talk to, someone to keep me up. Motivate me and keep me in the right path. I want to say shout out to all my teammates. I love y'all. We're like this. We stay together all the time. We're so close, and I'm just grateful for the relationship that we have together. And hopefully that will continue, as we separate, go off to college, we can still stay close. Shout out to all my friends. There's just so many, and but like all my coaches. Coach Hedgepath, Coach Wallace, Coach Rob, Coach Joni. Thank y'all so much. For showing up to practice every day, pushing us to our max. Getting us better. We're just here to make you proud, and we're very grateful for all the hard work that you put in, the money, time. It's a lot, but it's not just hard for us; it's hard for y'all. But we thank you very much.
Hey, there it is. So thank you. Look, as we wrap this up, I want to thank you both again.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for having us.
Malia Perry went to University of Auburn. Coach Flo, who played at Penn State from 1988 to 1991. All right. Madison Green going to the University of Penn State.
Penn State University.
Yeah, Penn State University.
University.
Penn State University. They are
Penn State.
For Coach Washington, who played at Notre Dame from 89 to 93. So you both are going to get excellent tutelage at two top-notch programs. I want to thank you both again for joining us. The weather's bad. We're going to let you get out of here so we can all be safe. But I do want to say this to those publications out there who follow basketball, and they probably seen more basketball than I do year to year. But Malia is an example of, to all you other players out there, whenever you start, don't get down on the rankings. Don't get down on what people say. You're seeing it right now.
Yep.
Right now, not ranked as one of the top 100, and it's totally ridiculous. These are two of the best players, both top 100
Absolutely.
players. No question about it. State champions,
And I
all
think
Americans.
going back to rankings, like, it doesn't matter where I have you ranked or where the next guy has you ranked. It matters where the school that's pursuing you has you on the recruiting board. For Malia in particular, like, you were worried about the recruiting process. Auburn was on you from the very beginning, whether or not you were ranked number 1 or number 5,000. They wanted you, and that's what a lot of people miss. There's a misunderstanding out there. They think that, I'm not ranked high on this publication, I'm not going to get recruited. It doesn't matter. If a school likes you and they're really evaluating, if you're good enough, they're going to recruit you.
So the Big Ten, the SEC, make sure you go out and support these young ladies. And I just want to say to you, too, before I let you go, I believe if you and the other young ladies from Central Ohio and Ohio in general, this class of young women basketball players, if you continue to keep that bond, your relationships that you're going to build at the universities that you're going to go to, we can look back at this class as, a group of young women that changed basketball for Central Ohio. The youth is going to be looking up to you. Your futures are going to be amazing. The opportunities that you're going to have are going to be amazing. So just kind of keep that in mind from afar. This group right here can literally change, basketball and the way it's looked at around Ohio. So I want to thank you both. Pick Central State champions, Malia Perry, Madison Green on the Central Ohio Hoops Report. Hey, thank you again. Zach, man, is there anything that you want to close up with, man, before we get out of here, man? Shout out to Walnut Ridge, Von Cameron Davis, Magwood, and the guys. Big win last night. Dom Penn and Kaufman, they stay undefeated.
Couple upsets, just closing out. Olentangy Orange took down Olentangy Liberty yesterday.
That was a big game, man.
That was Liberty's first loss to a Central Ohio team all season long. So shout out to Orange getting that one done. Nick Brandon is a senior for them. He had a big game, about 16 points to close that one out. Another upset, Circleville took down Hamilton Township in the MSL Buckeye. I was at the first edition of that one and then went to overtime. Circleville is a tough team. They're led by a sophomore, Riley Gibson. With that loss, now Fairfield Union has sole possession of first place in the MSL Buckeye. So just a couple upsets there in the area last night. Also shout out to West High School. They took down their rival Briggs for the first time in a few years.
Cowboys.
Abdi Gele with about 18 points in that win for the Cowboys. So that's all I got. Probably going to be no basketball today. Everything's been canceled already. So
next week, we won't be here. Big week, right? The play-by-play classic. So make sure that you come find us at the Play-by-Play Classic. Let's talk some basketball. We'll be covering that event. So no show next week, but we'll be back the week after that. But even though there's no show, we'll still be out there on the basketball scene. Come find us. Come chop it up with us, man. You know how we do. But it's the Central Ohio Hoops Report, man. Signing out for my man, Zach Fleer. I'm Derrick Owens Jr., man. Thank you guys again. Hey, Great show, man. Holla back. Peace.
Shout out to Pick Central Girls.